Hey, what's up everybody, Ultimate Reviews here and welcome back for another video. So, last night Samsung unveiled the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus and we were all expecting that. However, they didn't unveil the Note 5 in the UK and I will talk about that later on. But first, let's take a look around the S6 Edge Plus. Well, I'm going to walk you guys through some of the new features, starting off with the display. Now on the S6 Edge, it was a 5.1 inch Super AMOLED Quad HD display. And then on the S6 Edge Plus, it's now a 5.7 inch Super AMOLED Quad HD display. The resolution is obviously still the same, but the bigger display with the dual edges just looks incredible. It gives the phone a much more immersive experience. It looks crazy. Not to say that should be a reason why you should upgrade. Some people still prefer smaller displays. However, the pixel density and all that good stuff is the same. Next up we have the dimensions. Now, the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge measures in at 7mm thick, whilst the new S6 Edge Plus measures in at 6.9mm. So, you know, it's a very insignificant difference, which honestly wouldn't really be a deal breaker whether you pick either of the two. However, something that may be a deal breaker for you is the battery life. Now on the S6 Edge, it was a 2600 milliamp battery, and now on the S6 Edge Plus, it's a 3000 milliamp battery. And we've also seen a few tweaks to the Android Lollipop, alongside with the same processor, the octa-core Exynos chip. So there's definitely going to be a lot more room for saving power. It's going to be less power consumption with the more efficient processor. And speaking of processor, we're also going to find 4 gigs of RAM instead of 3 found on the S6 Edge. So, you know, multitasking will be a dream. And we're actually going to find Samsung's new LPDDR4 RAM. And overall, it's meant to just provide immense multitasking and at the same time keep the power consumption pretty low. So hardware-wise, the S6 Edge Plus and the S6 Edge are very similar. You've got, you know, the same resolution display. You've got a similar processor. You know, got the same camera, front and back. You've got the same design, same types of USB ports. It's very, very similar, just a bigger display, well, visually. But there's been more changes with the software. So Samsung have actually included more software, well, software changes to make the phone optimized for people with smaller hands or people who may struggle, you know, using such a bigger display. So one of the new features they've included is the half keyboard. It's nothing new. It's basically shrinking the keyboard so you can actually type with one hand. They've also added another feature where the phone could basically be reduced to like halfway. So again, one-handed use is just so much more easier. They've also included this new feature called People's Edge, which basically allows you to send pokes, messages, love hearts, all types of emojis to your friends. However, they also need to have a Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus. So there is kind of a restriction there. However, they also included a new feature called Apps Edge. So if you guys can remember, on the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 Edge, there was a little feature where you could pull across the edge of the screen and it would show you some quick apps which you could easily select from. So they basically harnessed that idea, included it on the S6 Edge Plus, and yeah, I guess it's pretty useful seeing as you have an Edge display, but it's simply just pulling out from the side and you've got all your apps there. It'd be really useful for quick launch. And of course I can't forget to mention Samsung's new live streaming service, and I'm still really skeptical about this. I spoke to some of the really cool Samsung reps there and they were kind of showing me through it, talking me through it, but I'm still not really convinced yet. So it's basically, Samsung have partnered with YouTube and they've basically added this new feature where you can live stream wherever you are, and they're trying to, you know, roll this out globally. Basically, they want people to be live streaming wherever they are. You know, you're on your way to a party or you're running late for work. Hey, let's live stream it. I'm not too sure, seeing as you've already got so many similar apps. You've got Periscope, which recently, you know, kicked off, and I think they've just reached 10 million users, but it's becoming very popular. You've got services like Snapchat. If people really wanted to talk to each other in like a more formal way, they would probably use something like Skype, who knows. But yeah, I'm still a little skeptical on Samsung's own live streaming service. Hopefully it's not something that just dies down like 3 months later because no one uses. But who knows, you know, it could be something that begins to trend. And, you know, I think the whole idea with live streaming is it's just very it's just not as simple as making a phone call or sending a text message or even sending a simple Snapchat. I mean, taking a Snapchat picture is so much easier than recording, because, you know, there's just so many factors you've got to take into consideration when you're recording, you know, walking on the street, data, there's just loads. And finally, onto that part of the video, should you buy it? Well, I can't decide whether you would buy it or not, but from what I've seen, from how I've used it, if I was a Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge owner, I probably would, only because of the bigger display and the bigger battery. I'm not really a huge fan of Apps Edge and People Edge. I really think those are kind of gimmicks. You know, I don't really use those features, but for the bigger display and the bigger battery, yeah, I would be very tempted to upgrade. The camera's the same, the processor's the same, apart from the 4 gigs of RAM. The design is the same, everything is more or less being kept the same. Yeah, I would probably upgrade. Now, if you don't have any of the devices, the S6 Edge or the Edge Plus, I would just go straight for the Edge Plus, because 5.7 inches is a very reasonable size, and compared to the Edge, you would feel more comfortable using the Edge Plus just because of its bigger display and the 2 edges. Honestly, it looks incredible. And for you guys who care about your micro SD card slot and your removable battery, those are not going to be found on the S6 Edge Plus. So if that's a deal breaker for you, you might not want to look at the S6 Edge Plus. And before I wrap up this video, Samsung also didn't unveil the Note 5, which was really disappointing. Got some information before the event that we weren't going to see the Note 5, and I was like, are you sure? And then they just unveiled the S6 Edge Plus, and I was like, okay, well, where's the Note 5? But turns out that they are not launching the Note 5 in Europe because they apparently not enough people use the S Pen. So Samsung are kind of seeing, well, what's the point? We might as well release an Edge Plus rather than a Note 5. So that is actually really frustrating, because I really like the Samsung Galaxy Note. I think it did really well, but I guess they deal with the numbers and all the figures. But yeah, it's definitely really disappointing. So if you're interested in the Note 5, you're going to have to purchase overseas. But yeah, this has been my Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus video. I hope you guys have all enjoyed it. If you have, feel free to hit the thumbs up button. Any questions, hit me up in the comment section or on Twitter. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.